Rolling down the road like thunder, liver cuts, balls and guts, you'll hear the rumble. Tremble before us as we make our way, nomads across the world, revving our engines with excess, just enough to impress. Oh yeah. We are dreadnoughts, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoughts. Blades, bullets and fire, wherever we go, trouble will follow, disaster in our wake, making you quake. Dreadnoughts. Oh, you'll be seeing us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. Always on the move, rolling down the road, nothing to prove. Buzzer cuts them clean, with the rope tearing to your spleen. Torch will burn you alive, a trail you'll not survive. The thunder machine will run you down, Thrasher will crush you with a frown. Monkey wrench will blow you apart, while Santa will rob you without heart. Dreadnought! Oh yeah, we are dreadnoughts, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoughts. You feel like a clown, Zartan will just cut you down. An army of one rope pick will see you done intense. Naga hide will track your movements. Beware the doom cycle, Storm Rider is a genuine article. Burnout will keep us in repair, while hot wrench will make you despair. Not to forget daughters say, son your likes going on a killing spree. Oh yeah. We are dreadnoughts, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing, succumbing. Dreadnoughts. Listen up, I've got a story to tell about a guy named Logan, he's so swell. He's the G.I. Joe gamer. Cool and weird, dropping off those characters, heroes and villains at midnight we sound. Joe, or Cobra, talking about the Joe Team and a Cobra tie. Joe's got snake eyes, a silent ninja in black. Quick with his swords, he'll give you a heart attack. And there's two to lead, so go gung-ho.
Warning. From the hilt cautions that mature content may ensue during this video that includes foul language, possible adult situations, violent implications, and perhaps a little something something. Wink wink. Nudge nudge. A little racy even. Keep in mind that it's all in good fun. Now that we've gotten all prim and proper, please enjoy the show.
Greetings, I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer. Today on Joe Takes 52, we are talking about Torch from the Hilt. We're going to start by taking a look at the vintage figure, which I have, and he's in, for as often as I played with him, he is in really good shape. And before I forget, it's good to see you, Robert. Thanks for joining me. I said hey to you in the chat already, but it's good to shout everybody out when they come in. And you were here before the show even started, so thank you for being here. Anyway, that's what he looks like, the original figure. Now, I played with him so much that the flesh-colored paint came off of his chest, and all the white that was on the skull necklace came off. But if you take a look, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get it. It actually looks pretty cool, the skull in black. So it's to me, I've never thought about touching it up with paint or anything. The Torch is definitely my favorite of all the Dreadnoks. I think second maybe Road Pig, but I always thought this was a cool figure. I even like the armband on the left arm there. Now, when I took him out of the package today, my plastic baggie that I keep him in, I noticed that his arms were on backwards, and he didn't need a new O-ring. Evidently I had replaced it recently, and but I put the arms on the wrong side, so I had to switch them back before I started. So it doesn't take much. You just take the screw out the back and you put the arms back on the right place. And I have done that in a video before where I showed a repair. This is his original backpack with that the settling torch would plug into, in this little hole back here. There's a little dinky hole there that the torch plugs into. Now, I don't know where mine is. I looked through all my accessories today and I could not find it. However, I do have another example that I will be showing you. But before I did that, I wanted to take a look at this modern carded figure. Now, they did it okay with this particular Torch. I mean, he looked good, and the acetylene torch was really cool. And there's his file card. So, okay, I do love this style of card. It's still my favorite. I don't know why they ever would change, because this is what worked. It did so well for decades, almost 2 decades. And then they decided to go with different packaging, I guess. Now, the reason why I wanted to show that is because there was a better modern version of Torch, and it came with a comic 2-pack with Ripper, and so I ended up with an additional Torch from the modern line, and I do have one out of the package of that other one, but I prefer this one that looked closer to the vintage. So I'll definitely pop this guy back up here. Now, the acetylene torch is what I was talking about. This is the exact same mold, only they did remold it a little bit. The attaching cord does not fit in the vintage backpack, which kind of sucks. But there you go. See, they did a pretty good job of making the comic book pack one look like the original. Now, I don't know why they went and for the regular release that came out in 2008, I think, or even 2009, but I'm pretty sure it was 2008. They made his vest brown and his pants darker blue. I mean, it was okay. It just didn't look like Torch, like the original Torch. Now, like I said, this one did. Now, they attempted to put this little peg on his leg that the acetylene torch can fit in. It doesn't fit very well in his hand, but I don't know how this is supposed to go on there. It just doesn't really fit in there very well. And no matter how you turn it, if you turn it the wrong way, it messes with the cord and everything. And it kind of goes in there. And there is a little thing that they added to the top of this particular torch that does kind of clip on there, but it doesn't stay. It just because the way they set it, this is kind of a hard, almost wiry plastic, but it doesn't let you move it around very well. And so much so it doesn't, you put it in the hand and it doesn't even stay in the hand very well. It just pops right back out after just a little bit. The cord itself actually forces the gun to pop out of the hand, but you can get it in there, it stays okay, but that's about it. There were certain things I didn't like about the modern line, and that was one of them. Accessories, the way they changed them, and the peg holes in the feet, they made everything incompatible with the vintage, which I always thought the vintage figures were really cool. Now, on Torch, he had a pistol on his left side, so that made him left-handed. And then he had a knife on the left. Now, they changed that on the classified, but before we get into the classified, we'll take a look at the box. And this is the packaging. And it looks like it's just like, these symbols, nobody even cares, I don't think. I mean, I don't know if anybody takes the time to look them up, but there's the front of the box. And he's number 123 in the series. So it took him 123 figures to put Torch out. And then, of course, they had this really cool artwork, which I have in the thumbnail even and in the videos. So they did a good job on the artwork on this figure. So that was pretty cool. But they put out a really decent classified figure. And when you compare him up to the modern one, I think they did a better job on the classified. I mean, they look very similar. I mean, they've got the same colors. They've got, what they did change up on the modern, on the classified, is they changed the color of the sunglasses that Torch wears. Doesn't bother me that much. The coloration, it should have been black, but I don't know why they went with maybe to set it apart from the vest and the boots. But, that's kind of what made it all go together, his ensemble, And the updated Torch, the blowtorch, is really cool. I really, really dig this particular version of Torch. I'm glad they finally put him out. I'm glad they saved him for the last, because they made some really good improvements with Ripper. But then when they put Buzzer out, they kind of screwed some things up. So they went with his glasses don't come off. So, and I'm kind of glad, because Rippers was awesome. They go on there great. They stay on there, but the Buzzers glasses just fall off all the time. And in that Dreadnoks video, Brothers in Arms 2, that I played at the beginning, as you can see, I had Buzzer holding his glasses in place because they won't stay. But they did a good job of updating the backpack with the fuel line and everything. And this hose is flexible, so you can move it around. And that was one of the issues that they fixed. Now they had a knife on his right hip, on his right thigh, I should say. But they decided to go with two pistols, and I kind of like that. I even put that on display on Joe Takes 52, which I'll play at the end of this Joe Takes, like I normally do. But some of the coolest things that they've added to this was the flame tattoos on his arms. I think that's pretty badass. And then what you got is he came with blast effects. So you've got the hit like it at idle, where the little flame is just sticking up, and then you pop that off really quick. And they have two different settings for like when the Torch is first blasting out fire. And so it comes out of his hand pretty easy. I mean, there are ways to display them really cool, but as you're moving them around, like I'll just take this out of his hand while I'm displaying the blast effects. I mean, look at that. It's incredible. And it depends on how you want it. You can do it any which way, and it's kind of cool. Now they did come with, like I said, a different setting with the longer flame stream, which I think that is badass. I thought they did a really good job with this, and like I said, they just peg in there really, really good. I mean, the pegs on these are extra long and flexible plastic so they don't break. So what you have here is a dynamic product, and attached to the fuel pack is awesome. What would be neat is if the flame glowed with a light. You know, it might. And I've never tried that, but I guess if you had it in the dark and you shined a light on it, it might glow. I never have tried that. That's a good idea, Robert. Hey, Jess, what's up? We got Jess Laws in the house. Did I say anything weird last night? Yeah, a little bit. You were okay. I mean, yeah, you were kind of out of it, but that's okay. We get it, Jess. It's all good. Just showing off this this Dreadnought, as it were. My favorite of the Dreadnought series, and we'll be talking about the character here. Pretty cool. Hello, Aslam. Welcome. We haven't had you in the chat before. We appreciate you joining us. If you like Dreadnoughts and you like G.I. Joe, then you're in the right place. So welcome. And what's that? Hello, Jess Laws. Yes. All right. So this figure, though, I'm going to give it a close of a view as I can. It is really cool. They've even got the skull necklace that actually is a necklace. It comes off. And let me see if I can. I'm moving it around the wrong way there, but see if I can get in there. It's with my big old fingers, it's hard to grab a hold of things sometimes. And yes, hi Robert, and welcome Aslam. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you all being here. But yeah, that skull necklace, and again, let me see if I can get it to focus. That skull necklace is pretty cool on Torch, just like it was on the original. And he's got chains wrapped around his wrists so he can use them as weapons if needs be. It's kind of cool. And these pistols, I'll only pop one out because they're identical, but it's a cool pistol, and it is set up to peg in blast effects, just not these ones for the blowtorch. They're too big. But yeah, it's just a standard. Looks like a 9mm Beretta. It could be a 44, but I doubt it. Let's see, you fell asleep. I think after chill time started, I woke up after it. And no worries, no worries. Hey, cool gamer, how you doing? Welcome. Just looking at Torch today, and the classified version of Torch is really cool. Now, I didn't check Ripper's back on the vest. Originally, one of them said Melbourne Maulers on it. I thought it was Torch, but I think it was Ripper because it's definitely not there. It could be that the paint wore off too. Everybody saying hi to Cool Gamer. Welcome. And I like these. These are actually rigid. You can feel them. They're like metal spikes sticking up, or metal just metal studs on his vest, and the chains on the vest match the ones on his wrist and belt. He's got a chain belt there. I thought this was, and his boots were really cool. I thought better than the original. I mean, the original came up about the same space, but then that had these rigid designs on the back, which was kind of cool. On the original, it was a well-designed figure for 1985 when it came out. It was actually, it didn't have the ballpoint head yet, so it was like it was a 1984 figure, because in 1985 they redesigned the G.I. Joe figures, and they had a neck that was on a ballpoint instead of solid, so the neck actually moved forward and back instead of just side to side. Let me show you what I mean here. This head only twists. It can go all the way around, but you know, it will not go forward. Hello, Alan Williams. Welcome. If you're looking, if you like Dreadnoughts, then you're in the right place for G.I. Joe. It's good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us. But that's the classified Torch. It's pretty cool. So that's going to take us to the character of Torch. Now, in the cartoon series, in the Sunbow, he started in Revenge of Cobra. Sheamus from WWE will play a good Torch. I haven't seen him, so I don't know. You're probably right. G.I. Joe for show. There you go. Yeah. Hello, Alan. Yes. Yes. Well, it's good to see everybody. Thank you for joining me. Now, like I was saying, Torch started out on Revenge of Cobra, the original animated It was the second miniseries that came out in 1984. So they were kind of ahead of their time because the figures didn't come out till 85. Saying hi to Robert. So in 1984, you had Revenge of Cobra, and the Dreadnoks were in that, and they were pretty cool. Then they were in the next miniseries, which was the Pyramid of Darkness. And so with the Pyramid of Darkness, they played a big part where they took over this Space Station Delta. Sheamus is back in shape. Well, okay, I don't know wrestling, so you guys are probably right. I know G.I. Joe. That's what I know. G.I. Joe and Dungeons and Dragons. There's a lot of other stuff I know too, but those are my main hobbies. So in the cartoon, he had a lot of cool episodes. The very first one, Countdown for Zartan, it opens the very first episode of the series after the 3 miniseries opens with the Dreadnoks, and they're trying to teach some Cobra Troopers how to break stuff, really. And Torch demonstrated how his flamethrower worked, and it was pretty cool. He said, "You destroy the foundation, and the rest comes tumbling down." It was a really cool episode. Countdown for Zartan, if you haven't seen it, Dreadnoks had a pretty good part in that. There were several other animated adventures with in season 1 with the Dreadnoks. I mean, you had there was one where they had an election, and I'm trying to think of the name of the episode right now, and everything's just flying out of my head because I'm live, and that's just how things roll. But they were trying to get a mayor elected that was a Cobra in, I think, Chicago is what it looked like. And the Dreadnoks actually kidnapped, they actually took Snake Eyes, Spirit, and Zap prisoner. And they were using these kids to do their bidding and paying them, so that at first it didn't look like it was Cobra. I guess that's why the Dreadnoks weren't taking any active hand. But so Snake Eyes was probably trying not to hurt these kids who actually are the ones who took him prisoner. Someone should make a movie combining G.I. Joe and D&D. I would like that. I would like that too. That would be interesting to have the G.I. Joe characters go into a medieval like D&D setting and have them be like they're portraying a D&D character, but they're themselves. That would be kind of cool, Jess. That'd be an interesting plot line. In season 2 of the Sunbow series, you had the Dreadnoks quite a bit. They were in Arise Serpentor Rise. There was an episode called Cobrathon that featured the Dreadnoks. That was pretty funny. And they were there trying to take on Flint, Low Light, and Dial Tone, and didn't work out very well for them. But that's how it is. That's the Dreadnoks role. They're I think in the cartoon they weren't portrayed as seriously as they probably should. Let's see, how old was I when I started to like G.I. Joe? I liked G.I. Joe from 1983 when it first came out, when I was 13. I didn't start collecting till 85. I wish I had started collecting in 83. I had heard about G.I. Joe. In fact, I had picked up the first 2 Cobras in 1982 as a kid because they looked cool. And so I still had those in my collection when I started collecting. I didn't even know I had them. I went and looked through my toys, and I found him after I had started collecting. It was kind of funny. I had forgotten about him. He was still in the womb. No. I was government issued. That's what I said about Duke in the Rise of Cobra movie. He said Duke wasn't born; he was government issued. I thought that was pretty funny. And so in the cartoon, they were fun. They were a fun antagonist for G.I. Joe in as an alternative to Cobra. And yeah, they worked for Cobra and they were part of Cobra, but yet they weren't, and it was kind of cool. But in the comic books, they were a little different. They were a rough, tough, mean biker gang. And there's Torch right there. This was the second cover he was on. I do have a version of issue 30, which was the first one they were on, I'm pretty sure. As a trio there. Torch. Let's see, we got Torch, Ripper and Buzzer right there in my favorites order. It's kind of funny that it turned out that way. A lot of people like Buzzer. I think he's a cool dreadnought too. He's just not my favorite. Now this cover is, let me get it out of the plastic so you can see it better. Because the shine sometimes on these plastic sleeves takes away from the actual comic. Yeah, and I bought this newsstand when it came out, so I've had that. I've had this since it was released, and I loved G.I. Joe comics right from the gate. I started collecting them. But I was late to the party, so I actually started. I got my first subscription on issue 52, so that's how late I was to the party. But I ended up picking up most of them, and when I had a comic book store, for a while I actually sold some of them, and I wish I hadn't, because I would have had the full run. And I'm missing about 16 issues now, one of which is number 30. And this is a comic book 2-pack, which is what this modern Torch came with. He came with this 2-pack. If I remember correctly, this is the one that came with him. And him and Ripper, who's right there on the cover. Now on the original, Torch is there, and you can hardly see him, but he's on the cover here. On the original version of this, though, Torch, you can see him a lot better. Now, let me see if I have that on my computer. If I do, I will bring it up. Oh, I do too in a sleeve. It takes up less space, and so sometimes I like to show off both. This is like issue 35, and then you've got issue 36 on the back. So lots of cool G.I. Joe comics. I like to show them all off. I love the comic series by Larry Hama. Very, very cool. Now let me see if I have that pick. And if I do, I will load it up and I'll show it to you. I should have thought of that before I started. But when you do live stuff, you think about things while you're live, and you go, hey, that would be cool if I had that one. And I do. All right, sweet. So I'll bring that up and I'll show it to you in just a sec. But so in the storyline in the comic books, they were serious antagonists, like I was saying, and that's how Cobra used them. They were mercenaries. They were technically part of Cobra, but they weren't. They worked for Cobra, but they did not have the militant Cobra attitude. And here's that cover. And as you can see there, Torch is definitely a lot more visible than he is on the remake here, which I'll plop up right here on the remake right there. See, you can hardly see him. And then on this one, he's like right there, and you can see him torching that jet there. They actually went on to an Air Force base and started destroying jets. It was pretty cool in that issue. And yeah, then they just rolled down the highway and they didn't get caught. It was like, what the hell? And then three Joes were on the road at that time, heading from their base to the West Coast. They were going to do a road trip across the country. Rock and Roll, Clutch, and Breaker. They were a trio, and I want to do a Brothers in Arms video with those three, and I probably will do that the next month. I hope so, if I can, and that would be cool, because those three guys, they were in the comics. They were always together on leave. They'd take their leave together, and they would have some good times. And one of which was going up against the Dreadnoks. It was pretty cool in that particular issue. That was pretty cool in issue 35. So yeah, that so in the comics, Larry Hama took them seriously, but yet he was more interested in Zartan, and that's for obvious reasons. Zartan is a really cool character. As far as the Dreadnoks are concerned, he didn't really go into the individual characters a lot. Buzzer had an arc, but I don't think Torch ever did. Have a good one, Logan, and everybody live and chat. I will see you guys on Spine Ticks later on. Thanks, buddy. That's a good segue into me plugging Spine Ticks live tonight. Link in the description. Please check us out, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So for me, 9 o'clock. See you later, Robert. Yes. Thanks for joining us, Robert. Appreciate it. All right. So that is kind of the character of Torch. He sometimes took a leader role in the Dreadnoks. Usually Buzzer did, but Torch sometimes did. Now, I don't see him as the leader of the Dreadnoks. I see him as, like, if you're talking about a motorcycle club, I see him as the sergeant at arms. And that's a role that they assign the guy who's in charge of the weapons and other things. You know, I don't know much about motorcycle clubs in general, but I've seen a few shows and whatnot that probably aren't even remotely accurate. But Sons of Anarchy was a good one, and the Sergeant at Arms was a pretty cool character, and that's kind of how I picture Torch. He was like their weapons guy, and he knew the torch. You know, and the best way to show that off is I have a video of his file card that I have updated. I had one that I did during now Cobra Convergence back in July. The old memory is there. It just takes a minute sometimes. Said I wanted a flamethrower and YouTube blocked it. You know, sometimes they get a little carried away and overzealous, but also they're trying to protect people, and I get that. But here's Torch's file card.
and guts, you'll hear the rumble. Tremble before us as we make our way. Nomads across the world, revving our engines with excess, just enough to impress. Oh yeah.
And I managed to fix it during the video, so it's cool. The one that just is posted on the channel right just now is the one that says Torch. I can't believe I said how to say football. But they're so that takes us to my opinion of Torch, like I was saying. I see him as the motorcycle club's sergeant at arms, and I see Dreadnoks way differently than a normal motorcycle club. They're kind of a fantastical motorcycle club. Where Sith, he's usually here for all the G.I. Joe stuff. I know, but he's probably getting busy for Spine Ticks tonight. Sometimes he shows up, but not always. And, you know, he probably forgot, even though I had told him, but that's okay. We all have lives, and I get that. Anyway, like I said, Torch is my favorite Dreadnok, and the way I see Dreadnoks as a organization, they are a little different. In my headcanon, I even take it a step further. I see Dreadnoks as riding in pairs of 3, and I call it like a covey, and they're all like a coven, like they're a bunch of witches, because that's kind of how Zarana sees them, as a group of witches. And so she basically, when she showed up, she kind of took over the Dreadnoks, and Zartan doesn't care. It's like he's like the president and she's like the vice president, and she took over and he let her do kind of whatever she wanted with the Dreadnoks. And in my head canon, she grouped them in pairs of 3. Like her covey is her, Zartan, and Xandar. And when Zartan, kind of was in and out, Zartan's daughter kind of pops in sometimes. And so for Torch, his covey is Ripper and Buzzer. Now the other next covey would have been Thrasher, Monkey Wrench, and Zanzibar. But it gets kind of a little convoluted after that because there was only Road Pig and Nagahide in the vintage line. And then Burnout came out in like the 2000s, so I kind of considered them a covey. And then I kind of put the newer Dreadnoks after that, which there were 3 in their own little newer Dreadnok category. And that was Storm Rider, who I have. I do not have Heart Wrencher. And there was another Dreadnok that I cannot think of at the moment that had a release as well. I think either the exclusive collectors club only or as a convention. I don't remember, but I mentioned them all in the song Dreadnoks that I put out. So there, Zanya was there too. So like I said, she kind of goes back and forth, and that might be who I was thinking of. But like I said, I mentioned them all in there. You rewatched your live and don't know. Like you don't like how it sounded? It sounded stupid. No, you didn't sound stupid. I mean, you just sounded like you were new at it, and that's fine. We get better with experience, Jess. And even me, I've been doing this over a year, and sometimes I stammer a little bit and get stuck and caught up in what I'm doing. Hello, Sydney Cat. Welcome. Just about wrapping up my Joe take on Torch. Meow, meow, meow. In my head canon, he's like, if you just count the Dreadnoks, the Z family is kind of like the management, and Zartan, Xandar, Zarana, and Zartan's daughter Zanya, which she's not even part of Larry Hama's canon, I don't think. I haven't seen the newer one, so I don't know if she's been added, but she wasn't last I saw, which was around the 280s, 290s, maybe even. And then we went to 300 with IDW, and now they've switched over to Skybound, which is an Image comic, which I've read like the first 3 of those, 301, 302, and 303. I have them digitally, but I don't have physical copies like this, like I prefer. And it was okay. It was interesting. Larry Hama was trying something different that he hadn't tried before, and I get that. And so he was trying to be edgy, and it's not bad. It's just, I don't know. I think he's finding his legs on a new company, and that happened with IDW at first too. So I think he'll get his footing and just take off again like he did with IDW. So that is my take on Torch, my favorite dreadnought. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I do have another little video here. The on Joe Takes 52, which is what this episode is. Torch from the Hilt. That has a bunch of images and some of that Dreadnought song again. And yeah, that's going to be my Dreadnought theme song. So whenever I have a Dreadnought character that I look at, I'll use that song, because now I have a song for the Dreadnought. So Torch inspired me to write that. So that's where we're at. And so thank you all for being here. You're taking your stuff in the bedroom. Will you tell Ray? Well, I will yell Ray for Ray to wake up. Hey, well, I'm taking off, so he's going to be there for Spine Ticks. I hope you guys are. Spine Ticks is at 8 o'clock Pacific time. So if you're Mountain, that would be 9, and then that's 10 o'clock Central and 11 for Eastern. So yeah, that's kind of rough for you folks on the East Coast, unless you're night owls like me and Jess Laws. So we'll see you guys on Spine Ticks tonight. And so on that note, Logan out, and we'll catch you guys later. Thank you all for joining me.
Rolling down the road like thunder, living cuts, smoking guts, you'll hear the rumble. Tremble before us as we make our way. Nomads across the world, wearing our engines with excess, just enough to impress. Oh yeah. We are dreadnoughts, in town giving shocks. We'll need a crew, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoughts. Blades, bullets, and fire, wherever we go. Trouble will
Back of you dirty American swine.